Hello, you're about to see the trail details from Feathercamp Branch to Beartree Gap Trailhead. It was my first 7-mile
hike
attempt, which really proved too much for me. I had 1,000 feet up on Saunders something or other, and the longest switchbacks you've ever seen in your life. Okay.
There were 22 of them, and it's my fault because I had decided since when we'd been home and he had done stairs, we had hiked in a national forest that we have here that had some pretty good elevation, and he had done 5 miles, and I should have realized that 5 miles nearly killed him, so maybe he wasn't ready for 7 miles with 1,000 foot up near the last part of the day. So, you know, I'm the one that pretty much planned our hike, so I kind of have to take the blame for it. But anyway, you don't really get to see the misery because we kind of had to stop filming. It was after dark, and
yeah, it was miserable.
Yeah, the down, you know, which we'll talk about a little bit once the video is over. But from your standpoint, you can see this trail terrain, which was pretty good terrain on this section.
Yeah, yeah.
Just
didn't have any traction, but
well, at one point, yeah, was a little damp and slippery and all the leaves and everything. But anyway.
And then the trail just disappeared.
Yeah, that's true too.
Yeah.
Which we'll talk a little bit more at the end. So everybody have a blessed day. Hope you enjoy the video, and thank you again for watching, for subscribing, for liking, and for sharing, and for all your comments. Really appreciate it. Have a blessed day.
Well, good morning. Today we're at the Virginia Creeper Trail
Straight Branch.
White top section. All together, it's going to be about 7 miles. Is that right?
It's going to be our longest trip so far. So be a real test. And it's 22 degrees right now.
Yeah, it's really cold. Been a lot colder at night, and
but we're doing fine. We're staying warm.
Fine. We've adapted, so to speak, and we're looking forward to finishing this while the sun is still up.
All right. Have a blessed day. And we are heading across the first bridge, and there you see the stream where there's a little branch. Not many people out here on this beautiful Sunday, but if you notice, it's just a little bit cloudy. It's supposed to be partly cloudy today. It's supposed to go up to the low 40s. Of course, when we get 1,000 feet higher, I don't know that we'll get the low 40s up there, but down here, it's supposed to be in the low 40s. My hat's kind of covering my face, but you know, at this point, got to keep the ears warm and everything else. So anyway, it was a great time at home and with the family. And where is she? Lev had a good time playing with the grandkids. We're just loving it. Some parts are pretty hard. Dealing with this cold is tough, but this is not as tough as we feel like it is dealing with the 95 and higher, 90 degree and higher weather in the summer. So hopefully we'll be able to start racking up some miles now after all the stairs we did. And G did 1,000 feet of stairs in a house. That'd be about 120 flights of stairs that he did, so not bad. Well, apparently I was wrong. We were wrong about how far we thought we went on the Creeper Trail. We may join up with it again later, but we've just come to a junction, 18 north up this way, so G's headed up. And but it's still not very much elevation. Obviously that doesn't change, just the fact that we're not walking on this lovely pavement, whatever, anymore. For the next 2 miles we'll be walking apparently on this type of trail, which is fine. we're ready to be back. My fingers are cold in these gloves, so I think I'm gonna swap out for my heavier gloves. Well, it did not take long for the temperature to go up and all the layers to start coming off, and we got a little ledge-like trail here. We're doing a little downhill now, and we're walking on probably the north side because I'm pretty sure this is going east. And then the creeper trail for the bicycles is over there on the other side. There's their bridge across the river, and you hear that flowing. They had some rain up here, so it's definitely higher than it was when we were here before we went home for the holiday. It's really a pretty cool sound hiking next to it, and then Appalachian Trail North continues this way. Well, the weather at this point is absolutely beautiful as we continue on this kind of ledge trail. I guess that's just something we're going to have to deal with a lot. Looking off towards the east over there, there's the creeper trail. It crossed over. It's on the same side of the river as we are now. So I guess if a person wanted to cheat a little, this would be a good place to cheat a little. You could just stay on the creeper trail. But we'd rather be on the walking trail, the hiking trail. We actually came out ready to start yesterday when it was much, much colder, and it was only going to be in the 20s. But we just really felt like, no, we probably shouldn't, because there might be too much ice on rocks and things. And we've actually passed a few places where yesterday I'm quite sure there was icy rock type places that really wouldn't have been safe for us. So glad we waited a day. We continue northbound on the Appalachian Trail. Most fun we've ever had in our lives. Truly, the most fun we've ever had. What'd you find there?
It looks like where a bear's been clawing and chewing on this to find insects. This one and that one. Maybe a little bit down there too.
Well, that's truly our first sign of wildlife activity. Which we didn't see the bear, of course, but...
And even along the top of that one right there, you did some scraping to try to find termites.
Uh-huh. So they are out here somewhere. Of course, you can't really tell how long it's been since that took place, I guess.
Yeah. Been this year.
Somebody getting hot, so we were wearing our rain/wind pants. An expensive addition to our gear, but worth it. These are the things that take time when you're hiking in cold weather. About 1.5 miles up from Straight Branch, I think it's called, off of 58. You could actually be on the Creeper Trail or the Appalachian Trail and utilize this campsite right here. And we're getting ready to head up those little steps. And then I always think it's so cool looking. And you've got all these big boulders. I guess these are big enough to call them boulders. They go all the way up the side of this mountain to the top. Can't stop for long once you take off those layers, or you'll get cold, but don't want to sweat, so you keep taking off the layers. See, that's why you don't take pictures while you're going up something like this, is it is just too easy to trip. Didn't go down though. Good catch. I seem to always trip when I'm going uphill, which is a good thing. I mean, if I am going to fall, I'd sure rather fall uphill than downhill. Shajulev says she doesn't like it when I trip, so she says no more taking videos while I'm going up the steps. And I guess she's probably right. That's wisdom. Being old sometimes is just no fun. But anyway, you have to be careful. You have to be more careful. Much more careful than when you're really a young, fit person. But we're doing great. We're adding miles, doing more every day. Today is going to be the most so far, so I'm really excited about what we might do down the road here. Somebody had to have moved all these boulders. There's boulders up here. And there's boulders down here. Trail builders through this section had quite a job. As G heads up this way, and after that, we're going to go across these. They didn't clean out the boulders in this little part. Glad we don't have to climb over those. I know you have to do some of that in Pennsylvania. Not yet in Virginia. Well, there's the little footbridge, and mostly there it is. In the rainy season, that probably is pretty cool looking. And it goes down, works its way eventually into the river, which is absolutely beautiful over all these big rocks and things out there. You know, when you're from Florida, you don't see a lot of these kind of things. Of course, I've been out of Florida for 22 years now, but still haven't had opportunity to see this kind of thing. It's really beautiful. So most of this little section right here has rocks like what you see here, which are not a big deal when you can see them. They go all the way across the trail, and every now and then, given the time of year, you come to a section where they're totally covered with leaves, so you don't really know where the rocks are, which way to turn your foot. You can slip on them fairly easily, so it's a good section to take pretty slowly, and make sure your trekking poles are planted good and that your foot has a solid place before you put all your weight on it. Love the sound of the stream. Well, I was finally able to take off the big fur, funny looking hat that I wear when it's really, really cold. And the speaker in my ear is just to hold up the microphone for the camera, which seems to be doing a pretty decent job. No need for all the extra equipment, just record on the phone. Has video stabilization in it. So, Shajulev seems to be looking off to the side today, mostly, and that's fine. She's enjoying the views. Ooh, ouch. I am not looking forward to this. First time I've seen him do that. I've had to do it several times. Even the big strong guy has to do that sometimes. That's just too big of a step to take. That's the little ledge we just climbed up, and even from this angle, it's steeper walking up that ledge than it looks, and not very wide, as you saw. But we both made it without incident, and there's the creeper trail again over there, and another bridge. Looking at the way the trail goes, it looks like that's where we're headed, up there. I just told G and he just turned around and kept walking. So, but he knows we've got a 1,000-foot climb ahead of us and it's going to be a pretty steep one. But we did it on the stairs with full packs. So I feel confident that we can do it here. And it looks like we're about to come up on the crossing here. If a person wanted to go to the Creeper Trail, it's about a half mile straight ahead that way. Or you can start the switchbacks to go up 1,000 feet in about 2 miles to where Saunders Shelter is. And what is G going to decide to do? We're at about 2454, and we are headed up pretty much just continuous switchbacks to 3408 or something like that. And right after that is a shelter that we would have probably planned on staying at if it wasn't going to be below 20 again tonight. We have a ride waiting for us for a nice, cozy, warm bed. We'd much rather keep going and do that. So that's the plan. We'll see how it plays out. He's been thinking about it, and now he's ready to go. And he's coming back down? Oh. Nope, he's not coming back down. I thought he had changed his mind and I thought maybe you had decided the heck with this. We'll just park right there at the bottom. We'll be looking at a total of over 20 switchbacks by the time we get to the top of this mountain. That's vertical. Lifting it up now, so it's not super steep, but it's steep enough to be tough. So we got to do that plus the rest of the distance on this one and each one about 20 times, and we'll be at the top of this mountain. As G continues up, got a beautiful day, beautiful scenery. Nice thing about winter hiking, you can see through the trees. So 5 switchbacks down, we're starting on number 6, come up about 200 feet so far. This one and the next one will take us up another 200 feet. And I don't know that they even named this mountain we're going up. I'm not aware of there being any open views other than the fact that it's winter and we can see through the trees. But there is a shelter where we can either take a break, keep going, or worst case scenario, we could stay there tonight if we need to. Don't really want to, but if we had to, we could. That's what's all around us. Trail behind, trail northbound. That's what you get to see when you're hiking in the winter on the Appalachian Trail in Virginia. So, where are we and what have we done?
Well, we're about 40% up the face of this mountain, and so far, in comparison to others that we've run across, they've been kind to us. It's still a lot of hard work, but there's none of the back-breaking, death-defying grades that we've seen in the past, where you had to claw your way up. At least these you can walk. And you know, no really big boulders and stuff. We got a lot of switchbacks.
8 switchbacks down and 443 feet done.
Yeah. So, onward.
Onward and upward. That's the way you get the sticks out of the way. Came from there, headed up there. Switchback number 9. And wouldn't you know, getting up higher, on this mountain. My gnarly little trees. They're evergreens. Someone has a very noisy dog. Well, we're at 3120. Just finished the 13th switchback. G's headed on up the hill there. Started at 2454. So we've made it up 665 feet of this approximately 1,000 foot elevation climb in the middle of this day. We're now at 3258. We've gone up about 800 feet and we've got about 150 left on this main uphill climb we're on. So this time they're giving us a warning that we're about to change directions. We're coming up on our first option of a side trail, the Saunders Shelter, I believe. We're not going to take that. We are going to do yet another switchback. There's another trail off the AT up here about a mile ahead that goes to the shelter. We're getting real close to the high point for the day, and there's just enough room there. The person could put a tent, watch the sunset through the trees, which is probably going to be awesome with the way that the clouds are. And you can see the wind starting to pick up. The clouds are supposed to be coming in from the west. I don't really see them yet. I don't know if they're northwest or southwest. I'm not sure if they're coming up from the south or if it's one from the north. But anyway, we want to get off this mountain before any of that happens. Well, we are definitely near the high point of the day of I think it's about 3406 right here, 3412 maybe the high point. And that I've got the green, the ground and everything is darkened here, but that's the way the sky looks pretty much. And then now you can see that's the way it looks down here. Wish we could stay and watch that sun go behind the clouds or behind the mountains over there, but we just can't do it. Got to keep going. That's what we see, and then the colors. Absolutely gorgeous. And this is what a night hike looks like. Kind of tough finding the trail sometimes. But our Guthooks app keeps us on course, and every now and then you see a white blaze, so hoo-yah. We have made it to the Beartree Gap Trail. Got about 1 more mile to go to our ride and our nice warm bed for the night. Took us a little longer than we hoped, but once again we've survived it. So I think we're off this way. G's got the stronger headlamp right now, so we'll see.
Well, what you didn't see in that video, and if Jajulith could talk, she would tell you, it was really funny.
Not at the time. It wasn't funny at the time.
Yeah, it wasn't funny for me. But we started down the mountain and...
from Saunders Shelter.
From Saunders Shelter, which I was ready to, you know, call it a day right there. But, you know, there was still night and the storm was coming and we had to get out, get down.
Right. The storm was coming and it was probably going to be icy the next day, which we thought it would be worse to try coming down the next day in 25-degree icy downhill as opposed to going ahead and pushing through. At night it was only 5:30. I mean, it wasn't like it was late at night. It just got dark early. So we started down that hill at 5:30 in the evening.
Yeah, the sun was going down.
It was gone.
Yeah. So anyway, I had tennis shoes on instead of my boots, which had no traction. And then, so I fell like 7 times on my butt, like right in a row. Just get up, fall down, get up, fall down.
And he had not fallen previously. This was a first.
Even the little bear was giggling, okay?
No, nobody was giggling. I was really concerned.
So anyhow, we got real cautious, and then it was just a struggle for me to keep going after we got on into it. There were several more ups after the 1,000 feet. They were a lot smaller, but for me, anything after that was a big deal.
And then we ended up on the ridge. We were on a ridge for what, for us, when you're going at this point about a half a mile an hour to make sure he didn't fall. You know, this ridge had rocks, and it was leaves and rocks, and you couldn't see.
Yeah, all the leaves were off the trees, so the trail would just disappear. There was no groove in the ground, okay? You had the blazes, if you could find the blazes at night. And
we had decent headlamps, but...
If it wasn't for Guthooks, okay, we might still be wandering around.
Well, we could only go like 20 feet, 30 feet to the right, or 30 feet to the left, so...
No, it was wider than that.
You think so?
No,
okay.
It was more like several hundred.
Oh, okay, well, anyway.
Yeah.
I guess it was, yeah.
Yeah. So finally we get up to the top of this little rise, you know, it was like 200 feet or whatever. And the trail disappears, and you're wondering which way do you go to go down. Okay, so we had to just go a little ways and see if Guthooks said that was it, or turn around and go back and go a little the other way.
I am a firm believer in Guthooks. I mean,
yeah,
that
sold me right there.
It's definitely worth every penny if you're ever going to night hike and could potentially get lost, because, you know, within 15, 20 feet, it shows you if you're on the trail. And in fact, yeah. So next video, we're going to do a review of Guthooks. This one I'm not doing any additional reviews because it's already so long, but anyway, absolutely. And I think I would go ahead like 50 feet, find the next, make sure I'm on the trail, and then I'd kind of blink a light at him to come to my light.
Yeah, because the leaves had just come down real heavily, and there wasn't a groove. They'd totally covered up the groove on the ground, okay? Mm-hmm. So once you had traffic out there and you start breaking the leaves apart, then yeah, you can discern where the trail is. It's just like new snow, okay? You have no clue.
And it was in the high 20s when we started that morning. I mean, there was nobody on that trail that day, other than I did hear a couple of people at the shelter, at Saunders Shelter that night. So somebody was out there, but for the most part, I mean, this is not through hiker season. This is before season starts, really, for most people, and so only an idiot would be out there. Are people that are just gluttons for, you know, we just want to keep going forward. And so we had a long talk with continuing thank yous to Lumpy and to the owner of the Mount Rogers Outfitters, because I would go in there with a map. I laid that map out, and we talked about the roads. He talked about, you know, how much ice there was, what they knew about it for that day. I mean, in fact, they actually kept us from going out a day sooner on this particular trail and said, you know, you just know there's ice up there now, do not go. And so we went the next day instead, and it was still very cold. And by the time that 5:30 to, well, it was just after midnight when we finally got down to the Beartree Gap, which we're talking a couple miles. It took us about 6 hours, so to you know, let Guthooks guide us across that ridge and down that mountain and go slow enough for him. I stayed in front so that he wouldn't feel pressured to go fast, and just basically took it so very slow so he wouldn't fall again. So quite a night, I must say. Yeah,
and the first part of that hike that day was somewhat deceiving. You know, this thing parallels the Creeper Trail. In fact, we thought we were going to be walking on the Creeper Trail for a good part of the distance up to the mountain. But you don't.
No, shortly after you cross the bridge there, after you leave Feathercamp, you cut off to the left back onto the trail.
Yeah, so instead of a gentle, easy walk, stroll to the mountain, so to speak, okay, no, you're off to the left over here, going up and down and over the rocks and across the streams and yada, 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 okay?
But it was beautiful. I mean,
it was very pretty.
Very pretty.
It just took a while to get there.
Yeah. And mentally, a little bit of a challenge there, just kind of getting your head back in gear. And the big challenge for this, too, was that he ended up with pneumonia after this, which we had to make another trip home. And we didn't get sick on the trail, just for the record. We never got sick on the trail. We got sick when we went to see our grandchildren. So this time he ended up with massive chest infection, and then it went into pneumonia. So for about a month he was really sick, and it took a very long time to get him back out there hiking, which is when I started hiking on my own. So
yeah, I didn't throw the towel, but I had it in my hand. Okay. Yeah.
But he was a trooper. He managed to kind of get up and get going again, and eventually, you know, we sort of worked out a new kind of way of doing things, which is really part of what led us to you know, considering how we might actually have me do a through hike while he still does his health hike. So all in all, it's all worked out for the best, but at the time it was just really very, I don't know, mentally challenging, I guess,
yes,
wasn't it?
Yes, mentally challenging. Plus, okay, this was in the dead of winter.
Right.
All right, there's 10 hours of sunlight. So that means there's 14 hours of darkness.
And
And you can't go to your tent and turn on the TV and pull up ESPN or HBO or anything else, okay? It's dark.
And we hadn't really worked out how to camp in the winter yet. I mean, again, we're brand new hikers, so we were extremely cautious and careful. We never did anything dangerous. We always knew exactly where we stood, and we had to work out ways to stay on the trail, even in this winter that January was cold. February warmed up, but January was cold. And so it took him a while to get him back out there. And even though he wasn't hiking, though, I mean, being there in that winter weather all day, and we ended up at that point, we would sleep in our little minivan in the back, which we lined with Mylar. I mean, we were in the woods. We didn't stay at hostels, and we didn't stay at motels. We stayed either in our tent or in our little, I finally called it our covered wagon. So anyway, I mean, he was really a trooper to keep hanging in there in spite of how hard it was. But anyway, so that was that, and I guess we'll see you next time.
Right.
No. He doesn't get to use her as a prop for the end of this video, so everybody have a blessed day and get out and hike.